We signed 54 people from October to January last year, which has never happened before in our history. But we're somewhere around 450 students now, okay? Wow. And so this month, actually ending in July, which was 2 days ago, that month was 69,501. So that was an increase over last year of 23,500, pretty much. And over the summer, trying to make sure that we get that in place for back to school. And so back to school is officially on. And, you know, we signed probably about, I want to say, 7 or 8 contracts this week, plus 3 upgrades, and several of those were paid in full upgrades.
All right, so I am Miss Callie Wood. I am one of the business success coaches here, and with me today I have Mr. Clay Pierson, who is in Statesboro. So tell me, where were you at when you first got started with us in terms of your student count and revenue?
So we were probably in the 235 to 260 range with our schools, and you know, I checked this time last year was about 4652 was what we were doing when we joined on with you guys with our schools. And you know, we've been going with you guys about 11 months now. This is getting ready to be the 12th month.
Awesome, awesome. So what changed when you first got started with Seven Figure Dojo?
Well, one thing that definitely changed was the marketing began to work immediately, and we began to see new people coming in our doors to try class, and many times as many as 5 to 7 a day. And it caused, you know, the first month or two in back to school, we couldn't really tell whether it was different than normal or not because of the cycle time. But when we hit October, it was obvious that we were skyrocketing forward. We signed 54 people from October to January last year, which has never happened before in our history, to sign people during those months like that. And that's when we noticed the giant explosion starting to occur, you know. And so it was a shot of energy in the schools, and the mats were full, and we began to start quickly trying to make changes to accommodate those guys.
Yeah, for sure. All right, and where are you at now in terms of student count and revenue?
So actually, you know, right now we're changing from our billing system to Spark and finalizing the accuracy figures. So, you know, I don't know that this figure is totally accurate. I'm guessing it's within 50, and we're narrowing it down this month, but we're somewhere around 450 students now, okay? Wow. And so this month, actually ending in July, which was 2 days ago, that month was 69,501. So that was an increase over last year of 23,500, pretty much. And so since we started with 7 figure, that's what the change was, and that was our best month ever, by the way.
Yeah,
okay?
Fantastic. And for it to be a summer month too, that's pretty good.
That's right. Yeah. So, you know, we're hoping as we get through back to school and continue making programs changes and scaling up and bringing the systems online, that we're going to see a different retention factor this loading cycle. You know, we've been working on closing our back end and working on the black belt nomination process and tracking our stats and trying to maintain our guys. So we've made a lot of changes, as you know, from working with us in the last 2 months, and those changes are still happening. So we've been kind of in a race over the summer trying to make sure that we get that in place for back to school. And so back to school is officially on, and you know, we signed probably about, I want to say, 7 or 8 contracts this week, plus 3 upgrades, and several of those were paid in full upgrades. And we signed 3 paid in full programs 2 days ago for just a 5-month program.
Fantastic. So what would you say to someone sitting on the fence considering joining 7FD?
Well, you're probably where I was, where, you know, you're doing everything you were taught to do. It was the right things, but you're still struggling in some ways because of the overhead with the schools, and, you know, you're working as hard as you can, and you need to see different results. So, you know, my thought to you is you need to jump in and make the change and get the mentorship that you need to grow to the next level. You know, we were multi-school owners, so there really was nobody that we'd come across that could help us with our particular issues. And we've been to all the martial arts school mentors before in one way or another. So we're going to suggest that you jump in and you do it, because we've proven the system. And, you know, somebody like me that I knew, Brandon Kemmer, talked with me, and he had been with 7 Figure for about a year year or a little bit more. At the time I talked to him, I flew out to California and met with him, and he's the person that persuaded me, and it was his testimony. You know, I couldn't really dispute the results of the changes in his schools, and so that's what caused me to make the commitment and jump on board with Seven Figures. So if in some way the results that I gave you today, and looking at what's happened in our schools in 1 year, and that's not without us making mistakes, okay? You know, every time you grow and have lots of people, things happen, but we still experience those kind of results. So I'm going to tell you to jump on board and give it a shot, and it's probably going to be the best investment you ever make in your school.
Awesome. And why is 7FD the best?
Well, you know, everybody else gives you a video series, tries to be a martial arts school in the martial arts schools for a monthly fee. And, you know, they give you a limited amount of information and recapitulate the same ideas over and over with a little slant. But Seven Figure was better because their marketing team followed up, talked to the leads, stayed with them, put them in the door, forced us to learn to track stats, used our stats, changed marketing to be the most efficient possible. And then when the explosion did occur, we saw the need for all of their expertise in scaling your systems. You can't keep the growth if you don't scale your school to handle the growth. So for these reasons, the mentorship, the coaching, the great spirit of the people, the willingness to go through your struggles, trials, and overcome them, and them being skilled enough to make the steps to do it. Those are all good reasons to do it, but let me give you the best one. Why are you going to go to a mentor that hasn't already done it? I mean, let's face it, Seven Figures done it. They're doing it. They're helping other schools to do it. So it's proven not just with what they did, but in their clients. And that's why I jumped on board. So that's why you should jump on board.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Okay.